Hey guys, we're live. Hopefully you're having a great day today. So it's evening here in Argentina and it's probably about 6:30 p.m. on the Pacific side today. And we're going to jump into some movement here. Can you guys hear me and see me okay? We are live here. Can everybody hear me, see me? Good to go. We've had a couple live streams going over today. All right, Elvis here. Do you think CTM is in an uptrend? I would say so, Elvis. Thanks for tuning in, Elvis. Good to see you here. Um, and can you guys hear me? Good to go? All right. How's everything going? So, most people have no idea how much money is moving behind the scenes right now, or actually just right in front of our eyes. While everyone's kind of watching flashy AI stocks right now, the infrastructure. Basically, TSSI got a 30% haircut today, or 39% drop down today on TSSI. And it's funny when you take TSSI, it's not, it's actually, if I told you that there was an AI data center company that was doing AI compute with quantum servers or GPU infrastructure, and they're building for top companies, and that it's not just momentum, but they're really building their market cap here and its pipeline here of tech. And I told you that it was on sale 40% off here. That's what we've been tracking here with TSSI. I'm a holder of the company in the long term. We see the company sell down again 39% today. And a couple things to consider about the company as we're looking at it here. It's had this really consistent uptrend. And how many guys, is anybody else in it? I know I'm in it in my Schwab portfolio. It makes up probably about 2 to 3% of my portfolio. Um, but what do you guys think about TSSI? Do we have anybody that is a holder of this stock? Not only TSSI, but also APLD and BITF had really big sell-offs today. And we could jump into the financials and all that, but Matt says, yep. Yes, we're good. Mohammed says we're good. You can hear me okay? Cool. Bravo. I guess I'm a little late here. Hey Will, what's going on, Bravo? Loud and clear. Good. Brutal in your watch list today. Yeah, man. I mean, I think CTM stock was the only one that actually held green throughout the entire day, except for maybe like the inverse stocks that we occasionally trade when the market goes down, like on days like today. Everything else red, 100%. But it's not just my watch list. I mean, the watch list that I never open, like I mean, definitely my watches, but also if you look at like blue collar, you look at oil, even in gas today, just sold off. That's how it looks today. DC Matt says TSSI. You did buy the dip. Bought more APLD. Says stock me silly. I got it. And then you see Bravo says holding BITF. And Elvis was going to buy before earnings. Thankfully did not. Yeah. And you're holding Wolf and APLD. And then for the long term, Jer James says waiting on APLD $20. Cash secured puts for 12.19. Nice, Jer James. That's pretty cool. I actually think that's, when you're looking at the, especially if you wanted to like sell some puts on um, some of these companies collect premiums, not a bad place to be in this market, or really just in general, conservatively a good play. Looking for Dow and Cisco to rotate, Francis says. Yeah, what happened with TSSI? We're going to take a look. Let's jump into it. We'll take a look here. Kids Mom 7950. Well, nice username. And Angela says holding APLD and BITF. I am as well. BITF was definitely one we're shaking our heads a little bit on the entry earlier today. Um, but I agree in that these companies are definitely seeing some growth, and most likely, I mean, we're going to see these companies rebound kind of in a V-shaped pattern. I would imagine here in the near term. We already see some bounces after hours, but um, not on APLD or on TSSI, that's for sure. Elvis Redwire, I hear you, Elvis. Thomas, hi guys, what's going on, Thomas? And then George James says Redwire 1,000 shares in cash secured puts. 100 shares in a monitored account. Nice. There you go. MU, SoFi, and Open. Yeah, watching those ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very interesting. Serve, LAES, and Big Bear AI all in cash secured puts. I want to get assigned. I love that. And then Johnny says, love Black Sky at these prices. Johnny's like on the same frequency as me. Like the frequency that I'm at when I see the red markets is not where most people are at. For me, I'm like kind of like in a jolly mood. Like I'm like, it used to really get me down when the market would be down, and then I realized your money is not you. You are not your money. Like if your money goes down, your money goes up. Like that's not you. That's just the market. The market behaves in very strange ways sometimes, and it's kind of like this pendulum. You don't want it to hook into you. You don't want it to allow to shift your energy, right? And what I learned is that actually getting excited about red or kind of shifting and be like accepting it, be like accept it. You can't ignore it. Sometimes you get on here, you see news, and people are like, "It's a little correction." It's like, no, it's a big correction. Can't ignore it. You gotta accept that you see that, right? Too bad can't buy everything, Johnny. I've had that problem too. I think we've all been there, right? You see all these companies that are in a good deal territory, and you're like, how much can I allocate? Um, yeah, Ray Dalio would say allocate, about 5% into a bunch of them. That's kind of like the holy grail, kind of like diversify into all of them. I know that we have some of our best investors, even a few that are in the millionaire status that are in Stockmate, for example, they all, like not all of them, that I would say probably 50% or more of them have, they're holding about 15 stocks or more. There's a few that have just held on to like one stock. Like we had one investor that went from like 300,000 to over a million, like 1.2 million, only holding Palantir, Big Bear, and like some quantum stocks. But for the most part, it's usually like they're holding a ton of different stocks and they've just slowly like had the growth take place and like been diversified enough to like not really worry about it and just like build up their positions on many different like high quality companies. Yeah. Redwire Ozado says, what are your thoughts on SATL? I don't have any thoughts on that one, but currently I don't have any thoughts, but I could take a look. Working says, I'm crying, Will. Do you feel the same with a sad face? No, I'm not crying. I like I said, like the market's not you. You gotta think about the market as something that you want to be like water. You gotta be like Bruce Lee against this market. Like take it, absorb it, or let it kind of flow through you. You can't let the market like pry itself into you, even when it's really green. You get really excited, and then it's like when it's red, we get super cautious. When the market was rocketing the past week or so, did you know that we didn't trade at all? We literally just like we were just holding our positions. And every morning in the Stockmate live sessions, if any of you guys have been there the past week, we've just said like, I'm not trading anything. It's just not moving the way that we like. It's just not moving. Things aren't staying true to pattern right now. Something's going on. You're seeing some manipulations in the market take place, which oftentimes are followed by distribution. And when that happens, you don't get emotionally attached. Let's see. Someone says, my money won't go back up because I didn't have enough to hold. Johnny says, I've been waiting on these discounted prices. Didn't think this would fall as far. 100 different companies learning to phase took diversification literally. Angela, that's funny. But someone says, my money won't go back because I don't have enough to hold. Were you in margin? Did you buy with oh, you got a margin call. Ooh. Yeah, I used to trade margin when I first started when I was like 16, 17, 18, just getting my first brokerage account. I don't know how I got margin on Robinhood, but I managed to. think I was using actually like a parent, my dad's account or something at the time. But I read this thing, and we could pull it up here. Charlie Munger on margin. Charlie Munger has some quotes on margin. He says, leverage. He says, there are only 3 ways a smart person can go broke: liquor, ladies, and leverage. Oh, Charlie Munger. He's a funny guy. But no, like he's said that like the number one thing is like leverage. Every great investor that he's looked up to at one point has gotten wiped out by leverage or something like that. He has some really interesting takes on leverage. One of his quotes is, "There's 3 ways to go broke," but he also they don't do leverage in their portfolio. And I thought that when I learned that, I must have been 19 or 20. I was like, okay, there's something there. I won't do leverage. And since then, I haven't. There's a few times where I have definitely done leverage at certain times, but I've never like over leveraged my portfolio to where it's like, I've been forced to sell or anything like that. Let's see. JZ just joined in. Is a bloodbath today? All right. So I know we're all here like basically having a conversation. Matt says market needs some creatine. It needs to get the cells and its down to the all of the charts. It needs to get like hydrated. Come back stronger. Cash only here. I love creatine personally. That's the one thing that I don't have here. I would love to have creatine right now. Cash only here. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but when it comes to the machine that we've been using, we've done some recent upgrades to the machine. Can I actually search up a stock, and let's take a look at TSSI after this monstrous day. Still quoting the after hour around 15, so probably should wait. Actually, let's take a look at APLD. APLD is quoted at 23. Inside of the machine, you got to see, in this case, we got Grok here selected. We'll get some analysis on the machine. And we were just starting to roll out some new analysis tools today. We're doing this really cool support and resistance where it tells you the nearest support and the nearest resistance. Let's see how it's working there. For Applied Digital here. So Applied Digital, despite the massive sell-offs, it's still projected to jump up into that $24 range and into that $28 range over the next year. Let's see how the next hours, it's still dragging down over the next few hours into tomorrow probably, but next day still projecting to sell off some more. But it's anticipating the bottom here on APLD towards the end of this week and into next week. We'll probably see some air, some fresh air, some breathing, and some green. I feel like the weatherman with this, but that's basically what we got there. And then as far as next year, it looks fairly bullish according to Grok in our analysis. And let me just pull up the Rigetti analysis here. We have this quantum enhanced analysis here where we could actually see Rigetti. According to Rigetti's algorithms, 64 shots used, we got a 71% chance here that 1 year is accurate. I think, or at least confidence score. I think from a tech perspective, I'm actually way more bullish on these data center companies and how they're showing it. See, Johnny says you don't need to use margin. Oh no, I don't use margin. Sometimes I use margin, but like it's never enough to make any difference. Because the only time that you should use margin is when you have backup. Like the only time you should use margin is if like you actually have the cash, and if you needed to transfer in, you could make it work and it wouldn't bother you. It's the same way like buying a house. Like if you're going to buy a house and plan to, let's say, borrow money, that's kind of leverage to go, let's say, from a private lender, that's very like leverage, right? You're going to go in, remodel it. You're anticipating that the aftermarket value after you remodel the house is going to be like much greater than its current price that you're buying it at. And then when you go get a loan on it, you get a loan way closer to that after repair value. And then that loan will like easily pay for what you borrowed money to do the fix and get the house. And so you got that extra equity basically from that loan that you could do whatever you want with. Maybe it's like, yeah, pay off anything or take the loan out. I think it's the same thing. Like you wouldn't want to do something like that unless you knew that you had either the skill or the ability to pay it off. Will, can we grok BBAI? Let's do it. BBAI. Yeah, so essentially what I wanted to share with you guys from the perspective of the quantum market, you're going really fast into this data center market if you're jumping in heavy, at the top here. And this is a pretty long game. Some of these data center companies could take a couple years to be established very well, and a lot of them are in the small, maybe couple $1 billion, or in this case TSSI much smaller than that. I think they're around like 300 to 500 million, and that's just, you're going to see much higher risk in that period of time. But I think these are companies that are going to do well. Personally, I mean, maybe we're not talking about TSSI a couple years from now or APLD. I think we are, based on the contracts we're seeing, but it's healthy. You see these pullbacks, they're part of the time where it's like you want to look for, at least, you don't have to do this. I'm not encouraging you to do this, but at least how I approach it, and this is how most investors that I met that have had success approach it, is they will look for these dips, and these are the dips that they end up, sizing their position larger. And yes, it could dip more. It could dip further. Same way that it can continue up after you think it's the top is the same way it can keep going down after you buy a dip. Of course. What matters is not the timing, really. What matters is that you have a plan. Most people that are investing in these companies longer term are buying these companies realizing that the long term is what they're looking to hold, and the value's going to inevitably go up. Now, some people are looking at the short term, and that's totally fine as well. It's totally fine. In fact, you can buy the dip and it might continue down further, or it might recover, or you could buy the top and it might continue up even further. That could happen. And that's why you have to have a plan in the short term. If you get into those trades, you want to have, the risk at a level that's much smaller than that of the profit you're going for. If your profit is not clearly determined and it's like probably 5 times the negative amount that you would lose in risk, then you're looking at a shorter term trade that, you're stacking odds against you. If you do something that's like 5 times the amount of profit you're going for and the amount you're risking, you're stacking probabilities. Let's say you're buying a dip, you're looking at the financials, they look good, you're seeing the market of data centers, it's growing, you get in at that time. And then, yeah, maybe it doesn't go perfect. If it doesn't go perfect, or just goes according to plan, keyword plan, you have a plan. Let's say you cut losses at 1%, 2%, 3%, 5%, whatever it is, then that's okay, because you're going for 50% or you're going for 25%, and you can afford to lose those shorter term trades, because you could lose way more than you win and still come out on top, because you're buying for way bigger returns. So I'd say that's the key for the shorter term. Sure, James says, I funded my account $500 at margin for the sole purpose of buying 12-19 Hail Mary calls and puts post 12-1 votes. On what was that? On TSSI? You sold covered calls, $19 cover calls. Your shares are safe. There you go. Sure, James. Oh yeah, let's pull up that BBAI. Boom, BBAI. Is it still at 634 or did it drop more after hours? It's at 618. Let's see how they did. When we were watching them earlier, we were watching this trend, which they did seem to break. Big Bear AI sold back down. Got hit with the red like every other stock today. And so the value here is going to be just looking for the Big Bear AI. You see some of that trend. Potentially you see a recovery as it's trying to hold above that EMA maybe. Projections are fairly bullish on the long term. We'll see. It was projecting further sell down into the next hours or so, but when you're looking at Grok, let's say, that's how it looks, fairly bullish. Let's take a look at OpenAI. CR2D2 says, great advice, Will. Hey man, that's just, you know why it's good advice? It's because like I've been through it enough times. Like it's funny, like someone could say like, dude, that's crazy. It's like, yeah, that's because I made like 1,000 trades. I know how it works. Finally screwed up a bit, obviously. It's okay, man. Hey, margin happens. Again, like Munger says not to do margin. Obviously, like you're going to want to try and find leverage because leverage is going to give you the chance to make a lot more. But I would look for leverage in the areas that aren't necessarily money leverage. I would look for leverage in places like, for example, like AI tools, using the machine. Like the machine is very bearish on Big Bear. According to OpenAI, was actually anticipating the stock to sell down here into the 618. It's currently last quoted at 634. It did sell down using tools like AI tools that can speed up your analysis rather than searching through SEC filings. Just have the AI do analysis for you. We could see there's more institutional buying here than there is sells. That could be some positive sentiment for the company. And this is like the machine, this is what we use. And you can learn about it more if you want on the channel. We have a ton of videos out on this, but we also do, there's a demo, a video demo, and kind of everything included. You get Stockmate, which is our daily live trading sessions as well, and 1 year access to this machine here. I've been using it quite often. We're still building out the market network, so like seeing how companies are connected. We have some examples of how that's going to be playing out. You got Big Bear AI connected with Palantir here, kind of even adding the connections there so you can kind of see how the companies are connected, what services they provide to each other. And then, yeah, just kind of getting to the point where you could get like AI analysis from any company, but like use leverage in ways that you can like get information or get into a position that would attract institutions later. Like that, literally the whole name of investing is like finding and serving the market. You basically find stocks that institutions would want early, buy them, and then serve the institutions by selling it to them later. Like if you're like a short-term trader like that, if you're building value over the long term, you're just basically acquiring shares, buying in when the dips come and things like that, right? Can you use, Will, are you able to use OpenAI, Grok, Claude, and Gemini at the same time? Yes, let's do it. Big Bear AI. It's called Tailored. Ryan, our developer at our team, which I don't know if you're going to start seeing people in the background of our videos because we got our team here. Fernando's in the background editing. What's up?
What's up, people?
So you guys are going to start seeing more of like our team in the background because we basically, we're working all the time, but we're staying here in Argentina and but Ryan is over in Connecticut actually. But Ryan just came up with like I had this idea for being able to see them all on one chart, which we were implementing, being able to see all the projections on one chart. You'll see a bunch of different lines. But check this out. You could actually get it's a little, we're getting it together here, but yeah, you could see OpenAI, Gemini, and Grok and Claude all at once and see what the different AIs are saying about the stock. We put in, the technicals, we put in the sensitive data that otherwise these models don't have. We give them the real-time price targets or price movements, and we give them the SEC filings. Of course, we give them the financials, any government shutdown data or reopen in this case. And yeah, so I mean, based on all of the projections, still pretty bearish for the most part here on Big Bear AI into the next day, into the next week. Most of them start to flip into the next 3 months, except for OpenAI. Claude maybe is still a little bit negative. Not seeing Gemini, but you can see Grok and Claude continue to build bullish over the next year. The highest performing models that we found have been Grok and Claude. And they do vary quite a bit. You can see they even vary by about 10% sometimes. But we're coming out with a model as well in the near term for our beta users where you can see an average of all the models analysis at once, which would be, or not like all the models analysis at once, but an average of all of the models along with some other proprietary data. And then the other thing we recently added, which I'm super excited about, again, is the quantum. I don't know if you guys saw, but we can like get the analysis pulled up here from OpenAI, and then we can actually run it through quantum analysis. Hey man, yeah, appreciate it. Fernando, one of the guys says, what you guys are doing is amazing. Props to you.
Wow, thank you, man. You're working so hard.
He's like, thank you, man. We're working so hard. I don't know if you guys hear him. But anyway, the TSSI trade and how that's going, basically for me, I'm holding our 2% of our portfolio in TSSI. And it dropped, it dropped big time, but I'm going to continue to hold. Actually, I might even just absolutely double that position depending on how things go. As far as big news that came out, I mean, financials, they didn't look bad. Revenue was holding. They even had a positive net income. Balance sheet was, total assets were green. Saw that really consistent uptrend. And then just 4 hours ago, it came out with an article here that Vivek Mohindra added to the board of directors for TSSI and currently serves as a special advisor to the vice chair of Dell Technologies. Previously served chief strategy officer at Dell and held senior roles at McKinsey, TPG, Freescale, and others. And I thought that was interesting. Like, you actually had like positive news come out from the stock today. There wasn't anything majorly negative. In fact, data center services are in big demand. They're helping some companies move their data center locations. They're doing the modular edge services, configuring the data centers, all of that tricky, nitty gritty stuff that honestly, most companies, even big tech, don't know how to do. They don't know how to really like fully configure a data center. This company does that for you. And they're kind of like, here, talk to us. We'll do it for you. And for a market cap of 414 million, they've sold off big time right today. They're now probably about 300 million. They're still doing about $300 million a year in revenue. So I wouldn't be surprised, given this kind of hockey stick in revenue, if they continue to hold it, that they have a sharp recovery. So personally, I like the TSSI play. Oh, that's pretty cool. James, let's have another call about that with the machine. I love that idea, man. It's a great idea. Delegating an account for the machine to trade on my behalf using my preferred strategy. I love it. We can get there. Sure, we can get there. If we do it though, it may be in the form of it may be in the form of tokens that you buy with USD that are for our token, and then you can buy representations of the stock by basically buying a contract that the stock will do what you are anticipating it would do, and then you would earn those tokens that would then convert into cash. If we were going to do it, the reason why is because I would rather do it that way and build out our own infrastructure for people to be able to trade on our platform in a futuristic way that would probably be literally in a way that we could potentially not even have to worry about SEC regulation or something related to like having stocks, but do it in a way that could be tokenized and that you'd be buying contracts that the stock would hit a certain price. I think that would be really cool, or something similar, and probably offer it in that way so that all of our users can participate in the investing and using AI to invest for you without having to, let's say, connect a third party brokerage, or because like there's so many weird like things about connecting third party brokerages. And personally, I don't even want to connect my third party brokerage to another app. Just way too sketchy in my eyes. So something like that I think would be the direction we would go. So there would probably be something in the machine where it would say something along the lines of like convert. I can't reveal too much to you guys, but we're gonna be actually moved. We're gonna be changing this. This is not gonna be called the machine anymore. It's gonna be called something. It's gonna be really cool. You guys are gonna love it, and I think you're gonna love some of the direction we're going. But yeah, I mean, why not have quantum also be able to determine and help you trade as well? Well, I'm sure we can get there, but yeah, I would probably. James says yes, like MTGO, play points to ticks to PayPal cash redeem. Yeah, I think it would be like basically USD to um our native token. I'll just call it Pro token. And you'll know what that stands for later. And then Pro to Tesla, or Pro to APLD, or Pro to the token of the stock. And again, it wouldn't be something that would be security based, it would be a contract. So then anyone in the world that watches our videos could invest, and it wouldn't be investing actually, it would be actually a private contract that you hold with us in the form of tokens that are represented online. And in doing so, we'd be able to allow anybody in the world to invest restriction free, and we could do it in a way that would reward users with our native token, and so people, and then any like revenue that our company generates, or at least a portion of it, we can put back into our native token of our company. So basically over time, no matter what, our token becomes more valuable. Kind of like what Apple does. Like Apple just keeps buying their own stock. We'd probably do something kind of like that. So anyway, does it include the possibility of new contracts for BBAI? Yeah, it would be kind of similar, I guess, to how we do like the contracts here on YouTube. Like we had a contract earlier where it was like, if you had bought Stockmate for a daily live trading session, which it came very close, by the way, this week. And Big Bear AI hit $7.50 or closed above 750 before the end of this week. Then you would get Stockmate for free. It's kind of like a contract. And we actually have done that before, and it's hit the target, and we've given it out to the person that we refunded basically everybody that bought on that window, right? So we have done that before. And so it'd be something similar to that, where you'd like buy stock and it's like you would get essentially paid out when it hits the price, but it would be in a token, kind of a layer of tokens. But yeah, in StockMate, we are going live tomorrow morning if you guys want to join on in though. One of the really cool things we got going on is the data center offer, data center boom sale, which is, I know data center pulled back today. It's like a data center bust sale, but hey, it is still available till Monday. If you want to tune on in tomorrow morning, you get a free t-shirt. Like every member that joins StockMate, you get a free t-shirt and our daily live trading sessions along with all the different companies. Saw Matt was tuned in, and I was just reading that from TSSI. Our cat earnings, we got some really good insights, about 28 millionaires in there, along with some beginners as well, but you can talk with all of them. And if you need to send me a message, you can always shoot me a direct message inside of StockMate. Would love to see you guys there. And cool. Appreciate you all. Thanks so much for tuning in. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Tanet says, quote for today, do your daily without worrying about the results. I love it. There's a really good quote by Rory McIlroy where he says, process over prize. So rather than thinking about like the end goal, the end, it's got to be there, the results. Think about the process, just what you got in front of you, hitting the ball. Just hit it as best you can and step you're in. And I think that's going to be the case into the end of this week, into the next week. We're actually going to be looking to see if any opportunities present themselves tomorrow morning after some of these sell-offs we saw. We'll definitely be looking for potential entries tomorrow morning. If you want to tune on in, it's going to be the second link below. Appreciate you guys. Tanet, appreciate you. James and Angela, always good to see you. Dividends, yes, we can definitely do that. Gamified buy-in math is interesting. I love that, James. It's pretty interesting. Does the analysis include the possibility of new contracts for Big Bear AI? No, it only includes verified press releases on the news, all of the transactions, the charts, the financials, the SEC data, insider trading, and institutional buying and selling, and a few other sources of data. But it does not think specifically about, it looks at the market trends 100%. It considers the big beautiful bill as something that could potentially consider the possibility of new contracts, and that bill increased the estimation for how much defense contracts are expected to be deployed, and that is their market, so they're expected to see some market growth. But no, it doesn't think of a specific contract they would get, although that's a really good idea. Cool, guys. See you all in the next one. Take care, guys.